Hello YouTube! This is going to be a video about what I got in the mail yesterday. It's not going to be a video about North Carolina or about equal rights or civil rights or anything to that effect. There is a video about that coming up very soon, which has already been recorded and is incredibly angry. I might re-record it actually because it's very angry, and I think I could have made the points better. But enough of that. That's for another category of video entirely. I'm waiting to go to work at the moment. I'm waiting for one of my clients to turn up. So, in the interim, I'm going to talk about toys and books and stuff. What did I get in the mail yesterday? I got this. This is the latest story in Stephen King's Dark Tower series, which is technically finished. I mean, the overarching story is finished. There is a beginning, there is a middle, and there's an end already. This is sort of an addition, an impromptu addition to the story that occurs between books 4 and 5, I think. Haven't finished it yet, but it's very good thus far. It's very good, and it's lovely. I mean, look at it. It's a pretty book, isn't it? If as and when I ever get something published, I want my books to look like that, because that's the kind of book that makes book people pick them off the shelves and have a flick through. So yes, that's a nice book. Publishing people, that's how you do it. It's lovely. Enjoying that. I only got it yesterday. I'm about 100 pages through thus far, because that's the way it is with Stephen King. He has his faults as a writer. He really does. I mean, he can't write an ending to save his life, but he's got this style, this colloquial style that makes you feel like you're talking to someone, like you're just having a conversation, and it means that you can read 40 pages and it feels like you've read 4. You can read 100 pages and it makes you feel like you've read about 20 or 10. It's impressive. It's a really cool gift. But I also got yesterday something in the mail, which is very lovely. Something that I thought I wouldn't want when I saw the photographs of it, because the photographs of it were really bad. They made it look kind of washed out and colourless and just a little bit naff, really. But in hand, it's really lovely. It's a really beautiful repaint. This is a BotCon toy, and for those who don't know, BotCon is the American convention for Transformers, which is fucking huge. I mean, it's just an enormous event. There are thousands of people who go to that thing, and they always have packs of special toys made for them in limited amounts. So there's only 1,500 pieces of this guy, and I've got one of them now, so I'm very pleased. This is a BotCon Shattered Glass Octopunch. Shattered Glass is a universe in the Transformers. It's a continuity which is basically, it's the Bizarro universe of Transformers. It's where the Megatron and the Decepticons are the good guys and Optimus Prime and the Autobots are the bad guys. It's quite cool, really. It means that you get to see these cool inversions of characters from the Generation 1 universe, and this is an inversion of one of my favourite characters. I love Octopunch. Octopunch is a toy I loved when I was a kid. I don't have him anymore. I don't know what I did with him. I've got to get him again. He was a pretender from the latter days of Transformers. Like, one of the toys that's really not that well regarded. He's a pretender. The inner robot's very chunky and silly, and the pretender shell's fucking weird. He's basically like a big aquatic monster with a massive old-fashioned diving suit helmet on his head, and he has tentacles coming out of his arms. He's really strange, but very cool. I really like that toy and the look of it. The freaky design, the fact that that is a Decepticon, that is a Transformer, is fantastic. But in terms of character, the original Octopunch, the Decepticon, is a monster. He is just a flat-out monster. He's savage, he's destructive, quite intelligent and very capable, but completely monstrous. This guy's an inversion of him. You can see he's got a little like Decepticon symbol there. Look, yeah, and it's blue. It's red. It's blue? No, it's red. You twat. It's red, which is the mark of the Shattered Glass Decepticons. The Autobot symbol for the Shattered Glass Autobots is purple, and the Decepticon symbol for the Shattered Glass Decepticons is red. Yeah. But yes, there is his Shattered Glass Decepticon symbol, and in terms of character, he's a complete inversion of Generation 1 Decepticon Octopunch. He's just a guy, you know. He's considered to be quite affable. People like him very much. He doesn't like violence very much. He doesn't take great pride in what he does. He's an engineer, but he regards himself as a bot who just does a job. And that's it. He doesn't regard himself as having any great role to play or anything like that. He just gets on with things. As opposed to Generation 1 Octopunch, who in a very Starscream style completely overrates his abilities. He's very competent, but he completely overrates his abilities, to the point whereby in the Marvel universe, in the Marvel comics, he ends up shooting God in the face. Yeah, you really need to go and read the original Marvel US comics to see what I'm talking about. But take it from me, Octopunch inadvertently ends up shooting God in the face. This guy doesn't do anything like that. It's a repaint of Universe Henkai Classics Generations, whatever new label they want to attach to that line, Sea Spray, and it's a stunner. I didn't have this mold before. I don't have the Sea Spray one, but I tell you, after this, I will happily get most repaints of this because it's a stunning mold. For one thing, it's not a fucking car. I don't know about you guys, I don't have much regard for car formers. There are good ones, there are really good ones. Animated is replete with good car formers, but by and large, they're so boring. They're so boring. They all seem to transform in basically the same way. They all have very similar features and styles and bot modes. And then just not... there's not that much you can do with a car mode other than... even as a kid I didn't like car bots because they're dull. Unless they did something interesting, like the Pretender vehicles or like Trax where he had wings that came out of him or whatever. You know, otherwise they're going, it's a car former, it's boring. He's a hovercraft. He's a hovercraft, and he's really cool. I love any sort of unusual mode for a Transformer, and seafaring modes are very unusual amongst the Transformers. It's really interesting and niche, and he looks... I mean, just look at that. It's a beautiful mode. There's hardly any indication of its bot mode, and hardly any indication that it's a Transformer at all. It's just Sea Spray recolored in Octopunch's colours, in the colours of his Pretender shell rather, and it works. It so works. He is a stunner to look at. Not much in the way of features in this mode. I mean, his engines will rotate, and the blades inside will go around, but there's no mechanism to make them do it, so you have to sort of reach in, and that will blow on them. There should be a little switch or something that makes the rotors go around. Very simple to do, and kind of an oversight there, but nothing that's detrimental to the bot. And he also has missile launchers, which are fine. They're inobtrusive. They give him a bit of offense in this mode. But the most interesting thing about him is that he has space on his back to carry other Generations toys or other Transformers, and he can. I mean, he's specifically made so that you can put like Generations Jazz and whatnot on his back, which is, again, really cool. It gives the Autobots, or the Shattered Glass Decepticons in this instance, a bit of sea transport, which is lovely. Also, this is one of the few newer bots that I bought in recent days where the plastic is fantastic. It's really good, solid, durable plastic, which is a rarity for BotCon toys. They do tend to be a little bit flimsy. He's really good. It's really lovely, and I would display him in this mode, and I do because I think it's a stunner. It's heavy as well. It's got weight to it, which is something I really look for in Transformers. If you look there on his cab, he has these tentacle decals, but if you look at them in a particular way, what it actually looks like, as many fans of this mold have pointed out, it looks like two ducks facing one another. See, there's the beak and the eyes, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. And given his colour scheme, it does make him look a little bit like sort of like an advertisement for a British lavatory cleaner that we have called Toilet Duck. I can't unsee that now, unfortunately. So yeah, and he's a big floating advertisement for Toilet Duck, which is fine. Which is fine. Now, transformation is great. You don't need instructions for this guy, but he is suitably complicated. It's something I really look for in Transformers. I like I like bots that are complex and interesting but intuitive, and this guy just has it in spades. All of his joints are interesting. They're all sort of very kind of G1 in a way, but more complex. They're all very tight. There aren't many ball joints. I don't think there are any ball joints on him, actually. So he does have a legitimately G1 feel. It makes all of his joints feel very tight and, I don't know, quite durable. But at the same time, his posability in bot mode is just unreal. And in fact, he's one of the few Transformers that seems to have been designed with the environment that he's supposed to function in, which is obviously underwater, in mind when it comes to the way he poses. I'll show you what I mean when I get there. Now then, this whole section, this whole back section just comes apart and then inverts on itself. It's frankly, it's beautiful. It is an absolutely beautiful transformation this guy has got. It's elegant and concise, and everything pegs together very, very, very nicely. It's just satisfying. It's a satisfying, good chunk of bot, this. Love it. Now, what are we doing here? This upper cab section splits in half to form his arms. Yes, very, very nice. Also, you get a kind of early head reveal with this guy, which is a bit of a shame. I like to do the heads last, if at all possible. But that's no issue whatsoever. Given the quality of this bot, that is such a niggling nitpick. It really is. And that's the thing with this guy. You do have to try and find fault with it. You need to nitpick, which is the mark of not a good Transformer, but an excellent Transformer. He is just stunning. And there we have it. There we have Shattered Glass Botcon Octopunch in his bot mode. Now, can you see what I mean with regards to the posability? How he is specifically designed to look like he is functioning in the environment he was made for. First of all, he has, like Sea Spray, he has this whole scuba diver thing going on. He has a wonderful face mask for a head. He even has like what look like oxygen tanks on his back and these things to propel him. He has harpoons mounted on his arms and these the sexiest legs. I know I go on about Transformers leg joints, but I do have something about Transformers leg designs. I love sexy legs on a Transformer. I like sexy legs on anything, to be quite frank. But on Transformers in particular, I find it very, very attractive. And this guy just has it. He just has the most gorgeous, beautiful legs. Even his hands are specifically designed to make it look like he's swimming. It's brilliant. He even has this look. His head is on this joint. I didn't even know that was there for a little while because it's utterly redundant. He can pivot his head like that. Doesn't need to be there. There's nothing related to the transformation there. It is entirely redundant, but it makes him look like he's floating in the water. It's brilliant. He even has this little detail, like Sea Spray. Little flip out flippers. That's Hasbro. That's the kind of thing. Forget the gimmicks, forget the firing missiles, forget the silly little like mini cons and additions and things. That is the kind of thing that really, I think, gets most Transformers fans excited because it's so cute and redundant and fun, and it's derived from the character of the bot rather than just being, you know, a marketing gimmick. It's so cool. It doesn't overshadow anything. It actually adds to the quality and the character and the feeling of the bot. I mean, I've only had this for a couple of days, but this could potentially be one of my favourite bots of recent years. It's so well done. It's certainly one of the best I've handled since Beast Wars. It is just an absolute stunner. This is how the mechanical bots, the big, beefy, sort of Generation 1 derived bots should be done. He is wonderful. And I prefer this colour scheme as well. The colour schemes of this guy I have seen. This is the very, very best. If you, you know, I'm sure most Transformers fans want this guy. I was lucky because I found him for reasonably cheap, but they are expensive. He's a BotCon exclusive, only 1,500 pieces made. I got him for about, I think it was £47 or something altogether, with very reasonable postage and packing. So that's quite reasonable for this guy at the moment. But I'm very pleased. I'm very happy to have spent that on him. He's gorgeous, even with his toilet duck decals on his chest, which they will be from now and forever. They're not tentacles, they're ducks. Stunner. Absolute stunner.